Okay, we are supposedly recording, and I say supposedly because a lot of times go to webinar. Well, I should rephrase that. Most of the time, go to webinar works great as far as recording is concerned. 99 times out of 100, it's doing just fine. But there are those rare instances, guys, when the recordings fail. Either the video doesn't come through, or the audio, or nothing work at all. So I would encourage you guys to, of course, put the cell phones on silent. Close down the email on the computer screen. Try to focus on what's going on here. Write down your notes so that you're prepared to make use of everything when we're done. Because in the event that the recording doesn't work, you've at least got what you've taken. With respect to the recording, yes, at the end of it all, we will be sending out the recording of the webinar. We will be sending out the assets of the webinar. You'll be getting bunches of information at the end. That should show up later today, or at the worst case, sometime tomorrow. You'll have it all, but you'll be able to get rocking and rolling. Continuing down the line of housekeeping. Do me a favor, guys. There is a questions box icon somewhere, or a go-to webinar icon somewhere on your screen. If you click on that, you'll see a spot where you can drop questions in. I would encourage you to just ask your questions along the way. So as we're going along the way, fire them in there. Your question may get answered. It might be the next thing we're talking about. We will address your questions. Typically, we address them at the end. That's probably more than likely what will happen today, just because of the scenario where I'm flipping the slides for Tom, kind of not monitoring everything. But we'll get to your questions as best we can. Here's the good news. If your question doesn't get answered here on the webinar, don't panic. Somebody from Angel Oak will reach out to you. Your questions are recorded into a spreadsheet. Someone at Angel Oak will reach out to you and answer your question directly. So do that. And then finally, when it comes to the housekeeping, we want to let you know that I understand this is the mortgage industry. I get that we do mortgages here, and I understand that from time to time in the mortgage industry, nuclear bombs fall out of the sky and into your lap. I get it. And in the event that happens, you just got to get out of here. But from what you've seen and heard, that you definitely want to get started making use of these proven scripts and strategies to go get some more business. Just type into the questions box, get me started. And then that way, even if you didn't complete the webinar, we know that you want to be reached out to get things moving. So with that, I am going to bring Tom in. I'm here with Tom Hutchins. Yeah, he's the EVP of production over at Angel Oak Mortgage Solutions. And I think we're pretty much ready to roll, Tom. We've got the first screen up and running.
Yep. Awesome. So I'm excited about this, Frank. I apologize to everybody for causing us to get started a few minutes late, just running into some technical challenges this morning. But I'm excited about this webinar and this content, because the whole scripts piece is really an important part of succeeding and building this kind of non-QM type business. So I think this is going to be good. Will be time well spent, and everything else that you shared with everybody, Frank, as far as us getting the materials and the follow-up pieces to everyone. So I think we can kind of get rocking and rolling now, Frank.
Okay, here we go. We'll go ahead and kick it off. What we're going to do, guys, I'll just kind of preface this. Tom's going to go through some scenarios so you get a sense of what can be done over at Angel Oak. And then we're going to go through how to kind of interact and work with Angel Oak and see what you can get from them to help you market the products. And then we're going to go through some scripting on where to find this business, how to locate it, and what to say in order to get it going. So with that, we'll start with our first scenario. Take it away, Tom.
Perfect. Yeah, and the reason, just so everyone's, probably the number one question that we get on a daily basis is, what do these loans, what do these borrowers look like? I mean, everybody has maybe a different perception of what non-QM is. So, at the end of the day, it's just borrowers that aren't going to fit into the tight agency and government guidelines. And so I think, these scenarios can help kind of paint that picture for you. So when you're out there doing your marketing and talking to your referral sources, these are the kind of scenarios that you can talk with them about, because that's really where the rubber meets the road, is you as the originator having the conversations with your realtor and referral sources, and that's what we're going to spend a lot of time on today as well. But the first one, and I'm kind of, these are going in order of priority, but this was, and these are real scenarios. These are loans that we did close, but we had a borrower where they went to buy a $1.3 million home. And what was interesting is that on the credit report, nothing showed up as far as a foreclosure, but then some additional reports were pulled and a foreclosure was found. So, they had this foreclosure, or this borrower, this jumbo purchase. Everything was going great until they found out about a foreclosure 2 years ago that the borrower, just maybe forgot to mention to them. So, it was 2 years ago, and everybody knows if you're doing jumbo financing, you really have to have 7 years of clean credit. You might be able to find a product or a program with 6 or 5, but 7 is kind of the standard need or requirement in the marketplace. And so they came to us, and we have a product that only requires 2-year seasoning out of that foreclosure. So we were able to get the loan, and the cool thing was that it was a purchase. And we all know with a purchase, the biggest thing you have there are those closing dates, those contract dates, and those dates do not change regardless of what happens to the loan and what happens to you during the loan process. You got to hit those dates. So we got this $1.3 million loan. I don't remember the loan amount. It might have been right around $1 million, but within 21 days, from start to finish, we got that loan funded and closed, and the borrowers got in the house, and the loan officer really became the hero. They were able to get this loan done. Everyone became fully aware of the hurdles that had to be overcome to get to the closing table, but yet it still got done. 21 days to close and get these borrowers in that house. So I guess in general, we call it credit seasoning, credit event seasoning. That's the biggest category in non-QM. The borrowers that have had something, a bankruptcy, a foreclosure, a deed in lieu, a short sale, in less time than what is required for agency and government loans, and jumbo loans specifically, to see a whole lot of those. So pretty good scenario, very common scenario. And again, this is a real loan that we closed.
I like it because this is laying out kind of what, I think a lot of people in their heads think non-QM just means, bad credit loans, you know what I mean? Low FICO, high LTV, and that's not the case here at all. This is just a unique situation. You've got a jumbo loan, a big loan, you know what I mean? And you just have a unique underwriting guideline circumstance that you guys were able to fill outside of the normal.
Right. Yeah. And again, I think that's why this, spending some time with some real scenarios is helpful, because, a lot of people think non-QM means interest only, in which it is, but that's not really the non-QM market. Or that it means, well, my DTI for that borrower is over 43. And that is a QM requirement, but non-QM is so much more than that. So just kind of moving on, so we keep the show moving along, is the next scenario. And this is another extremely common, real scenario that we see every time, and it really has to do with the self-employed borrowers. This is not generally credit related, although some of the credit seasoning is less than what is required on jumbo and agency financing, but it's really looking at self-employed borrowers who, we all know a big reason to become self-employed. There's a multitude of them, but a big reason is to have creative accountants and be able to write off certain things through your business that if you were not self-employed, you would not be able to do that. So, that sounds really good. And this scenario is one that happens all the time. But the borrower came and said, hey, I make $200,000 a year. And they wanted a big $750,000 loan. So loan officers thinking, okay, let's get working on this. But then when they asked for those tax returns, yes, 200 was their income, but that's not what their accountant reported to the IRS. So it turns out their net income on their tax returns was $50,000 a year. And, for agency jumbo loans, the way you qualify for those is your tax returns and 2 years of tax returns. And so this scenario would have never worked without our bank statement loan. So what we did, and you can see in this one, borrower had a 758 credit score, and that's kind of the standard or the common bank statement borrower. I think our average FICO is about 710 on our bank statement loans. So like I said, generally it's not credit related. It's simply income. And so we have bank statement programs where we look at the cash flow going into either a business account or a personal account, and we look at 12 months of those, and we come up with an average monthly income, and that's what we use to qualify these borrowers. So this one came in, this exact scenario, it's a $750,000 loan. Those prior to Angel Oak and this type of loan, that's just a no-go. That's a decline. That's a sorry, I can't help you. But non-QM and the bank statement loan allows you to bring some solutions to these self-employed borrowers. So we were able to get this one closed and the borrower in their house. Okay. Moving on. Another category, very common in the non-QM, are investor loans. And this, everybody knows Fannie Mae has caps on how many loans you can have. But in addition to that, if an investor owns a lot of property, they likely have a whole lot of write-offs and generally either don't want to or can't really show the income required to qualify. So we have what we call our investor cash flow. So that investor cash flow loan, what we're looking at is not the borrower's income. We're looking at the cash flow of the actual investment property. So that we use that and we compare it to the debt that they're going to take, the mortgage, taxes and insurance, their full payment, and we compare that to the estimated rents that are going to be received. And as long as those estimated rents are going to cover their debt on this property, we're going to make a loan for that borrower. So it's really simple for the borrower to qualify. We're looking for, I'd just say in general, good credit, good housing pay history, and we are going to look at their assets. They're going to need to put 20% down, but so we're looking at that. We're looking at a little bit of reserves. We do a whole lot of cash out on these. There's lots of investors that got into the market soon after the crisis and took advantage of foreclosures and some really good deals out there. Well, now those same properties, there is a lot of equity in them. So this investor cash flow allows these investors to tap into that equity, put a little leverage on these properties, and it's simple, very easy to close these loans.
Cool. You want to take a peek at some questions, maybe see if there's anything there real quick?
Oh yeah. Yeah, right, love to.
Let's see. People want to know if they can submit a file as a TBD with Angel Oak.
Absolutely, yes. We do those all the time. Not a problem at all. We in fact, that's part of our expertise. Is we want to help you, the loan officer, know what type of product and program that your borrower can qualify. And that's kind of a good segue into our website. I think we're kind of done with scenarios. You want to go to our website real quick?
Yeah, and
Frank, and maybe we can.
Yeah, it works perfect because the next question people are asking is like, where can you do loans in this state or that state, or what kind of rates are we looking at? So we're heading that way. Yeah, we're heading that way. All right, let me pull up the website real quick.
Okay.
And I'll just make sure that. Oops. Well, we did.
No, you're doing good.
Yeah, I gotta decline that real quick. A phone call came in. Let me get here. All right, here is the website. So where should I go?
So first of all, I would just like to highlight our web address. It's there at the top, Frank. It's angeloakms.com. If everybody if you just want to jot that down, go to our website, bookmark it, angeloakms.com. That's where you can find all the resources that we're going to talk about today. So first, let's address the question of how do I get in touch with somebody at Angel Oak. That contact Angel Oak across the top there, Frank, on the top right, and it's where it says find an AE. That's a terrific resource for you. So that's going to pull up a map. That map, everywhere that's green, that's where we're currently licensed and doing business. Click on Texas, if you would, Frank, and we can show everybody what that looks like. So if you're in Texas, you just click on that state, and there all of the account executives in the markets that they cover, as well as John Geminade, who's our regional sales manager for Texas. So, all right, very good. Goodness gracious.
Can you see it?
yeah. No, just lots of craziness going on.
Should we go to
yeah, go back to the homepage and yeah, okay. let's show the quick quote, because the person asked, can you do something with a TBD property? Oh my gosh, Frank, guess what's going on now? There's a fire alarm in our building.
That is awesome. That is rad. If you need to step out, I can kind of roll with it. I'm pretty sure I know where we're going here.
I'm afraid I don't have a choice.
I'm afraid you don't either. You better.
And I'm afraid I don't want to sit here too long to determine if I have a choice.
Fascinating.
Jeez. Yes. I tell you what. So. So right here, Frank, just enter a company, and I think you've maybe seen me do this enough times to know how to put in a scenario and all that, and then you can kind of jump into the scripts. And my apologies, my goodness.
No problem, man. No problem.
There's a first time for everything. Like you said, when bombs go off in the mortgage business, right?
Right. You got a nuclear bomb literally happening right now.
Jeez. All right, I got to run. Thank you, Frank.
All right, I'll take over.
Right.
So guys,
appreciate it.
No problem. So guys, no problem. I can get through this. No sweat. I've seen this many times. So what you do is you go under their quick quote, right, on their website. And another thing that I'm going to show you guys too is you can actually have a quick quote icon put right on your smartphone desktop on your smartphone. You can just push that right on your smartphone. It goes straight here. And this is real mobile friendly. So you can just get a quick quote while you're out in the field or something like that real fast. But obviously you can put in a credit score. Like I said, most of their credit scores are in the 700s because it's not. Their non-QM isn't necessarily just all bad credit loans, even though they do that. They have credit challenged products, right? But it's usually just stuff that just doesn't fit into the QM box. So there's a ton of that kind of business out there, like he showed you, the jumbo stuff, the self-employed stuff, et cetera, the investor stuff that you just can't get done in regular, QM financing. So let's say we got a guy with 700, right? And let's say, we're going to do a jumbo loan, right? Let's go 750,000. Our LTV, let's say it's 85. Okay. Housing history, they're just going to look for if they've got any, credit issues or something like that. I'll just say, I don't know. I'll just say, I don't know, 130. I don't know. We'll pick something, right? It's already starting to populate some stuff that this guy can do. A purchase, we're going to consider it full doc, right? It's owner occupied. He's not a foreign national. And so here we go. We've got some information. And again, I would just encourage you to go and play in here. So just go and play around in here and think of all the scenarios you can. You'll see kind of what pops up here, right? They're loan products, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they're going to be your I think they're your 5-year deal, right? So you're going to be at an interest rate for 5 years. Hopefully in 5 years, you'll be able to refinance them out of it, et cetera, because they've gotten past their issue, whatever that issue may have been that was holding them up, something like that. But you can see 5 3/4 in this scenario. And look, they actually go up to 90 on this particular deal. So for pre-qualification on this guy, so let's say you put in your scenario and we're all happy with it. We're thinking, yeah, it looks good. Let's get this thing started. You simply click on pre-qualification request. And here you can start entering some information. You're going to upload a credit report, a 1003, a 1008, and hit submit. If you got any stuff to send them, bank statements or whatever, you hit submit and off you go and you're running. And so they will get back to you really, really quickly with some sort of an answer where you can start formally actually getting this thing going through the system. Another thing that we wanted to show you guys with Angel Oak that's really cool, and I don't know that I can access it because Tom would probably have to do that. But let's see if we've got if I can do it here. Darn it, I don't think I can show it to you. He's going to have to actually log in and show it to you. But what they have is they've got a lot of great marketing materials that you can use that you brand to yourself. It doesn't have any Angel Oak branding on it or anything like that. And you can get these marketing materials downloaded. They're emailable. They're printable, right? You can post them to social media, whatever you want to do to get the word out about these products. You know, so that would be that. Let me just field some questions real quick that I might know the answer to in Tom's absence. Let's see. Let's see. These are questions I can't answer that are being asked, but they will be answered after, so don't worry about that. But let's move into my segment of this that I normally do, and that's like, I think you guys can understand that this is obviously great. These are great products. These are a great niche product. This is something to talk about, but now let's talk about how we get the business, right? How are we going to spread the word about these products and get the business in the door? So with that in mind, I'm going to shift over now to the scripts and strategies that we've worked that work so super well. And remember, you're going to get all this stuff, guys. Don't worry. This will all come to you. Let me see here. Find mine. Here we go. This will all be sent to you after the webinar. So let's go. So, all right. So we're going to get into how we go about finding this business now that we know that what we can do. So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and dive in. I'm going to show you guys how to get this business in the door. And here's what I want to emphasize. You will get non-QM business. You'll definitely get it. And this is great money-making opportunities and great rapport-building opportunities with new referral sources and all that. But another thing that this does for you, going out and marketing these non-QM products, is you'll wind up getting prime products too, because you're going to be able to open the doors to new relationships. And with these new relationships, you'll be able to get everything that they're doing, not just their non-QM. But using these non-QM products and scripts and strategies, you'll be able to break open the doors to a lot of new places and start getting not only non-QM business, but other business. So these non-QM scripts and strategies are a great tool just to get business in general. So first thing we're going to talk about is referral-based targeting. And with respect to referral-based targeting, we're going to be looking at real estate agents, right? And we're going to be looking at CPAs. So let's kind of go down my thought path on this, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try and target some new prospects. And the easiest way to do this, guys, is, and this is not my idea, right? This is, 20, almost 30 years in the mortgage industry, just being around a lot of salespeople. This is somebody else's idea, but it works great. And that's networking through your industry peers or friends to gain new referrals. And we're going to utilize, guys, social media, instant messaging, email, and the phone. All or any of those works. And the way we're going to make use of it is to find new targets or new referral-based partners, right? Is by getting a referral. And the way that we do that is this is your little script here. And you can do this like, in an IM. You could do this as a post on your social media, right? You could do this through email, through an email blast. It's a very short, simple little script, and it works. And all you do is say this: hey, I'm looking to connect with some real estate agents and CPAs that I can trust. Okay, when you say that, when I can trust, it's probably indicating to me you want to refer some people to them or something along those lines, right? So I'm looking to connect with some real estate agents and CPAs that I can trust. If you have a recommendation, can you send me their contact info? Thanks, right? So you're going to look for referrals. That's what you're going to look for. And it's a whole different ball of wax when you go to connect with these new realtors and CPAs, when you're coming to them as being referred to them. It's a completely different animal. In fact, it works fabulously. They will definitely take the time to connect with you, which is all you can ask. So by doing that, either through instant message or social media or through email or on the phone, you're going to get some names and some numbers of some real estate agents and CPAs that you're probably not working with right now. These are going to be new targets for you. Now, before you start making any calls to these people to sit down and have a conversation with them, try and get some business out of them, I suggest do a little research on them. Google them, LinkedIn them, Facebook them. And the reason that you want to do that is because you're going to learn stuff about them. You're going to learn maybe where they went to college. You're going to learn where they live. You're going to learn what their likes are. what things they're interested in, things like that. It literally only takes a couple minutes for each contact, maybe a minute, something like that. Just make note of it. What's something that stands out to you about that individual? That's because when you go to the next step, which is having conversations, right, on the phone, you're going to be a little bit more informed about them, about who they are, about what they do, about what they're into, that type of thing. And it just makes the conversations go better. Now, before I give you a script, I just want to kind of internalize here what the structure and prep should be for these phone calls. It's better to go into a phone call a little prepared, right, than just going for it, right? So again, you're going to get these presentations. Don't worry. So you don't have to write this stuff down. It's coming your way. But just take a look at this piece before you make your calls and just read through it. It's just going to help you make a better phone call. Obviously, you're going to identify yourself, right? And it says here, if you can make a connection through a mutual business contact or association you both belong to, you've already increased your chances for a successful call, right? That's going to be, I was referred to you by, right? That's making the connection. So I'm calling a guy named Dave Smith. He's a CPA. He was referred to me by my buddy, Bob Jones. I get on the phone. I go, hey, is this Dave? He says, yeah. I say, hey, I'm Frank with ABC Mortgage. I was referred to you by Bobby Jones. So are you familiar with Bobby Jones? He's probably going to go, oh, sure. Right. So in that case, we've already kind of broken down barriers, and we've already kind of established some kind of a rapport. So, oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys, I had to make a little shift here. But we're already establishing some kind of a rapport, so it's going to make that phone call go a whole lot better, a lot easier. Here it says recognize or say something nice about the prospect. Let them know you had taken the time before you called them and you admire their accomplishments. And so that's what I mean by when we do the research on them, you're just going to note some things. You just might say something like that. Oh, hey, I see you're a Cal Poly alum. That's cool, man. Yeah, I went to, my cousin was in San Luis Obispo or something, anything, just if there's something that you can inject that gives them a sense of, camaraderie or whatever, it's just helpful. And if not, don't worry about it, right? Now we want to get into the value proposition, what's in it for them. And this is where you go and you say, hey, man, the reason I want to reach out to you is I'm in the lending business. This guy's a CPA we're talking to. So you say, I've got deals that are specific for self-employed, where they kind of sometimes they struggle because you do your job so good they just don't make enough income to qualify in today's mortgage market. I got the answers for that. I was just hoping we could get together, and maybe I could show you some stuff. And if anybody pops up that I might be able to help, just you can send them my way. And I'd like to maybe send some people your way as well. And so we're trying to just get that appointment right. And then, of course, number 4 is listen to them. People say God gave us one mouth, 2 ears. So maybe we should listen more than we talk, especially salespeople, that type of a thing. But make sure you listen to what they have to say. See if you can use any of that to your advantage as well. And then, of course, ultimately, we're just trying to get an appointment to meet with these people. And I'm telling you, in today's day and market, man, meeting with people face-to-face is clutch. It's just critical. We have to get in front of people and have face-to-face conversations with people again. It's just the way it is. And that's going to really solidify these relationships and get some business out of them. What do we say? Well, here's a script for a new realtor. If you haven't met this one, we've gone through the phone call process. The realtor's on the phone with us, right? And we could say something like this. Hey, this is Frank with ABC Mortgage. I was referred to you by Bob Jones. I'm calling because I have loan products that can help borrowers that don't fit into your typical conventional or government loan financing. I was hoping I could drop by, meet you for coffee, or show you what I can do in case you come across these borrowers, that want to buy but can't get traditional financing. Any chance we can get together sometime? And I think you're going to be very surprised at how many real estate agents are open to that. I think in our industry, back when I got in, almost 30 years ago, all we ever did was meet with real estate agents face to face. These days, not so much, but it's a forgotten art and it's a critical thing to do. And I think if you do it, man, you're just going to see some great results from it. Everybody likes to meet people face to face. For the CPAs, the script, when you get them on the phone, goes something like this. Hey, it's Frank with ABC Mortgage. I was referred to you by Bob Jones. I'm calling because I have loan products that can specifically help self-employed borrowers that don't fit into typical conventional or government financing. I was just hoping I could drop by, meet you for some coffee, show you what I can do in case you come across a client wants to buy or refinance their home, can't get traditional financing due to their tax returns not reflecting enough income because you're so awesome at what you do. Hey, can we get together this week or next week? If you did this, guys, if you just did this, a couple hours a week, started making these calls a couple hours a week, I can guarantee you nothing but good is going to happen. Nothing but good is going to happen. And I think that's where we really need to be at these days. Here's a fun one. Targeted based, okay? Research-based targeting, research-based targeting. And we're going to look now at builders and check this out, small banks and credit unions, all right? In this scenario, Google Maps is your best friend. And I'll kind of show you what I mean. In Google Maps, what I did here is I Googled my city, which is Vacaville, California. You can see it right here in the middle. And what I did is I just kind of stretched out a circle of about 60 miles, an imaginary circle, okay? And if I stretch out a 60-mile circle, and I pick 60 miles because, that's about an hour's drive, right? So I've got, 60-mile circle, and you could just see I'm stacked with cities all around me within that 60-mile circle. It might not be the same in your area, but I bet in a lot of areas it is pretty similar. These all become new targeted areas for me, especially with non-QM, right? With non-QM, I have such a nichey, unique thing that now I can spread my wings a little bit and I can get out of my local area a little bit because I'm delivering something that's not necessarily being delivered locally for these people, okay? So I'm just first thing I'm gonna do is gonna take a look and I'm gonna see all the cities that I could potentially go in and start marketing to, right? Now what I did here is I started with small banks and credit unions and I typed into Google Maps, right? Solano County Credit Unions. This is my county. And you can see these are all the credit unions that popped up, okay? These are all targets for me. Why is a credit union a target in a small bank? A credit union and a small bank is a target because they probably do mortgages, and we're going to call to make sure if they do or they don't. And they probably absolutely 100% do not do non-QM. I can assure you that. If you got a small bank or a credit union doing mortgages, they're doing Fannie Freddie stuff, or they're doing portfolio stuff, right? But they're probably not doing non-QM stuff. So what do? What I do is I would find them all. I'd call them all and ask them if they do mortgages. And that's all I really want to know. I'd even find out who the mortgage loan officer is that's probably sitting in that bank or that credit union, right? So I'm going to find out who they are. I'm going to plan my route. I'm going to figure out where I'm going to go. It's the same thing with builders, okay? I just typed in new homes, right? It already knows where I'm at. And here's all the new home stuff that popped up in my area, okay? This is a lot. This is Sacramento. This is not far from me. So all these new homes. Now, what are these? Are these subdivisions or are these corporate offices or what are they? They're a little of both, okay? It doesn't hurt to call both. You see what I mean? So, here, KB Homes, right? Cypress at University District. This might be an actual subdivision. I don't know. It looks like it probably is from this photo, okay? So in that case, I might make a call to the salespeople there and just ask them, do you have anybody doing non-QM for you? The stuff that doesn't go through every day, the difficult stuff, the stuff that for whatever reason it seems like it should go through, but it's not. Do you ever have that come up? And if the answer is yes, I'll make note of that, okay? And you can go down, you can figure out if it's an actual subdivision or if it's the corporate office. If it's the corporate office, why not have that conversation? Why not try and talk to someone and see if they can, if you can get in? Are you alive, Tom?
Frank, we didn't burn.
You didn't?
We did not burn. The building is still standing.
Fabulous.
And I just got my exercise walking 10 flights of stairs. So we're good.
What? It's so funny that you bring up exercise because we're just about to that slide.
Perfect timing.
So yeah. So I'll just catch you up, Tom. We went through your website the best we could. We did okay. And now we went through referral-based targeting where we talked about, using a little script to get people to refer us to some agents and some CPAs they might know, how to prepare for call, what scripts to use for the realtors and the CPAs. And now I'm into research-based targeting where we've researched small credit unions and banks. We've researched builders. And I'm showing them how they can find these builders in their area. And then I was just at the point where we should call all these places first, of course, just to get a feel for it. And if you get a corporate office for a builder, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't say, yeah, well, who handles all the financing for all the subdivisions? I'd like to talk to them. get those people on the phone, present non-QM products to them, see if you can strike a meeting with them. Maybe you could become the non-QM lender for all of their subdivisions. And I'm telling you, stranger things have happened in this industry than some loan officer giving a call to a builder and saying, hey, can I do this? And have the builder say, yeah, go ahead. I mean, it happens. The reason that people don't think it happens is because they don't do it. And
makes sense.
Things like that do indeed happen. So I was just getting to the point where we were going to get our exercise, Tom, and that was grabbing our stuff and headed into the field. What are your thoughts on good old fashioned field work, Tom?
I think it's with just where we are in technology and the day and age of emails and texts and all that. It's, I think everyone should always try to keep it personal, and getting out and making sales calls is not what a lot of people do. So if you're doing that, you're already differentiating yourself. And really, as an originator, that's what you want to do. You want to differentiate yourself. You're going to use these non-QM products to differentiate, the loans that you bring to the table. And then if you're out making sales calls, just by doing that, you're differentiating yourself, because there's not many people doing it.
No, there's not. It's really funny. I was telling these guys, I got into the business in, it's 32 years ago is when I got into the business. And, 32 years ago, man, that's all we did, Tom. I mean, we didn't do anything else. Because there wasn't anything else to do. There was no technology.
You didn't have emails to check and things. Yeah.
No, in fact, you had nothing. When I first got in, we didn't even have pagers. I mean, you literally went into the office, checked on your files, grabbed your business cards, maybe some flyers, and you were out. You were on the road, and you were in offices, and you were talking to people, and you were, you know what I mean? And then you'd come back at lunchtime, and they'd have all the pink paper, the little pink notepad paper messages that it would be in your box, and you'd call everybody back, and you'd stick them on a spindle, and then that's how you remembered people's numbers. You'd go through the spindle and look at the messages. So anyway, here's something I always like to bring up. And you just said, you had to run in and out of the building. You got your exercise for the day. One of the greatest things about being in the field, and I believe, honestly, everybody should do it a couple times a week, is that not only are you going to actually make things happen, and things will 100% guaranteed happen if you do it on a consistent basis, you will get business by being in the field. Cut and dry, absolutely it'll happen. But one of the greatest things about it is you're outside, man, and you're in the fresh air. And you know what I mean? You're getting a little exercise. And there's something about that makes you more clear. And you think of things while you're out there that when you get back, you can execute. It's a head clearing process. I mean, don't you agree?
100%. Everybody likes to get out and enjoy the day. So that's to me just kind of like a side benefit to being out and being a salesperson.
Yeah.
Hey, Frank, I did want to ask briefly. The slide before showed the marketing flyers. Were you able to show them that on our website? Because I know that requires some usernames.
I wasn't able to show that, but I told them about it.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. In fact, what I would like to do is can I go back? Yeah. Just on this screen, guys, you can kind of see an example of what they do look like, and of course, you get to brand it to yourself. The Angel Oak stuff won't be in there. It'll be your logos. It'll be all your contact information, but you can kind of get a sense for what you've got. And these things, guys, you can print them, you can deliver them, you can email them, you can do whatever you want to do with them, post them in your social media. They're PDF files, so you can do a lot of things with them.
And if you're already approved with us, if your company is already approved, then we can get you access to these flyers today. So you can, this isn't something that you have to, okay, well, I'll do this, during the holidays, or I'll do this next year. This can be done today. So, find your AE if you don't know who that is locally, and they'll let you know if you're approved and show you the steps to get you set up so where we can get you a username and password to access those flyers.
We got a guy on here, Tom. His name is Tom as well. And he says, with respect to the Angel Oak marketing flyers, he says, I use their marketing materials at a lunch and learn. They are excellent. Think about that. How about doing some lunch and learns? And again, this is what we're talking about, guys. This is face to face, belly to belly, out there in the field, talking to people. And I like this guy too. His name's Richard, and he said, a pocket full of quarters and a bank and a and a bank of pay phones were my remote office.
We remember, pull over, make the call.
Well, if there's a payphone over there, I'll go get it.
Yeah, so I think it was Tom that had commented on about a lunch and learn. The other thing that we've seen work really well is our account executives all over the country are happy to attend those with you.
Nice.
So we have a PowerPoint presentation that already made for you that you can put your information on and your company logo, but we'll go there. So if the realtors or whoever the group is, if they have specific questions or whatever, we're there to reinforce your expertise in the non-QM space. So take us up on that offer. It's extremely effective.
Nice. Awesome. All right, let's get into the script. So this is a builder script here. So we got a builder script here. We got a small bank and credit union script. And this is when we, either get them on the phone, but this is preferably when we're out there. And this is something you just want to kind of internalize, and just be prepared to say. And you say, hey, man, I'm Frank with ABC Mortgage. I'm in the area. I'm just checking on you guys. See if you got any recent turn downs you might need me to take a look at. We've got products designed to help borrowers that don't fit the traditional stuff, Fannie, Freddie, governments. Is there anything you need me to take a look at or anything that recently got turned down? And if they say yes, take a look at it. If they say no, you say, no problem. Here's my contact info. If anything comes up, don't hesitate to give me a call, okay? And I can assure you they're going to appreciate you and say, sure. And maybe they'll ask you some questions and, have a little conversation. Go look at the new builder complex, see what they've got going on there. Because here's another thing, if you're out in these new builder complexes, guys, and you're getting to know them all around, right, you'll figure out which ones offer real estate agents commissions if they bring people. And there might be some of your realtor partners who aren't aware of this. Now you can come back to your realtor partners and go, hey, I was at this subdivision. They cooperate with realtors. Did you know that? And, it's not that far away. Again, just bringing some value, some added collateral benefit, Tom, to going out in the field.
So this is a true story. An hour ago, I got a call from a loan officer inquiring about how he could start doing business with Angel Oak. And I, asked, why was he reaching out, blah, blah, blah. He said his builder customers have been asking him about non-QM products, and he didn't know how to answer the question. So what he figured out was that means somebody with non-QM products is calling on my builders.
Yeah.
So I got to get on the train now. So, I think you or Brian have said in the past, get on the train because it hasn't left yet, but it's going. So get on it.
That is probably some loan officer that did one of these webinars with us. Who went out there and started calling on this builder. You know what I mean?
Exactly right.
Exactly what happened. Small banks and credit unions. Again, go in. First of all, with small banks and credit unions, I make the call ahead of time, see if they even do mortgages. Some of them don't. If they do, ask if there's a loan officer on site, right? And if they do have a loan officer on site, I would just stroll on in there and try and meet them. And I just hit them up with a simple script like this. Again, internalize this. I'm with ABC Mortgages, just visiting loan officers, small banks, credit unions. Don't know if you might have any turn down stuff that you can't do, but I've got non-QM stuff if you don't do it. Didn't know if you were, happen to have anything I might be able to take a look at it. And don't worry, I get you. We got relationships with local real estate agents. I'm not even from this area, man. I'm from, 40 miles away. Remember when I said draw a 60-mile radius and stretch your wings outside? A small bank or credit union in your hometown where that loan officer is out there calling on the same real estate agents as you, that guy's probably not going to give you anything. Okay, that's probably not going to happen. But the small bank guy who's 30 miles away, 25 miles away, something like that, that guy might send you something because you're not competing with them locally, So it's just letting these guys know that you're not here to compete with them. You're just here to help if you can, and hopefully you can start getting their turn downs. Any thoughts on that, Tom?
Yeah, that's big. I mean, I personally know loan officers. That's one of their biggest source of business right now. Is just simply saying, let me be your guy to help you get these deals done, because I know your platform is never going to do that. And so they have a pretty steady stream of referrals coming over.
Yep. I would say this too. If you do this on a consistent basis, guys, you're going to build up a little database. And you're going to have this little database built up of these new prospects, right? And some of these prospects are going to be hot, some are going to be warm, some are going to be cooler. Right. But the thing that you want to do is get these guys into some sort of a CRM or some sort of a follow-up system. I mean, that's a whole nother webinar right? But you need to stay in touch with people that you've contacted.
That's probably one of the salesperson's biggest challenges is follow up. We all we all kind of want immediate success, and that's kind of our current really psyche is just immediate success. But generally you have to get in front of people 3, 4, 5 times before it's a habit on your end, but it's also a habit on their end to remember you and to know what it is that you do and why you're different. So whether it's a CRM or an Excel spreadsheet, whatever, just make sure you it's more than one touch, because like you said earlier, you're going to make things happen. Things will happen, but you do have to make it a bit of a routine.
Yep, definitely. So okay, so let's see here. So that's that. I think we need to go ahead and entertain some questions here real quick, Tom, if you're okay with that.
That'd be great. No fire alarms on my end.
Yeah, right. Okay, so here we go. Do you guys do Fannie Mae stuff or Freddie Mac stuff, or is it just non-QM?
We only offer non-QM loans, and we made that decision when we started Mortgage Solutions 5 years ago. So the reason that we do that is that we believe there's an expertise required. So throughout our whole organization, and it starts with our AEs don't have to keep up with Fannie Mae guidelines and FHA guidelines and just all these different ones. They know non-QM and non-QM only, which means they know it extremely well, and that all the way through our entire organization. Underwriters, they're only underwriting non-QM loans. It's very difficult, if not impossible, for an underwriter to do a Fannie Mae loan at 9 a.m. and a non-QM loan at 11 a.m. Those are very different mindsets. So we purposely chose to be a non-QM lender exclusively for that reason.
Got it. This is a good one. How about the down payment and reserves? Does that all have to be seasoned and all their own, or do they have? What if they have gift funds availability?
Gift funds are allowed on all of our products. So,
wow.
We like to say you either have assets or access to assets. So, gifts from mom and dad or whatever, that works on all of our programs. We have seasoning requirements for funds. It's only 30 days though. So, if the money gets to them prior to 30 days, we don't even have to go, it doesn't even have to be presented as a gift.
Cool. Some questions here. Yes, guys, this is being recorded and it will be sent out to you, just so you know. Let's see. Yes, you will be getting the assets or the slides. Don't worry about that. How does the broker get paid, Tom? Are they all borrower paid, or?
So the broker has the choice in every transaction. It can be borrower paid, or we do have a lender paid compensation, and the majority of our broker partners choose lender paid compensation. So we are paying you at the closing table.
Okay, great. Here's a good one. How long can the lock be for a new construction home?
The thing about non-QM that differs than the rest of the market is our rates don't change frequently. So we offer I think 45, 60-day locks. If it's a new build, we should be fine to honor that rate. Just depending on how far out it is. We certainly couldn't guarantee that, but we've had very few rate changes in the last 2 or 3 years.
Okay. Here's another good one. Do you offer correspondent relationships or only brokered?
We have a correspondent channel for sure, both what we call a non-delegated and a delegated. So if you're a correspondent lender out there and realize now is the time to get into the non-QM space, please reach out to me, and I'll be happy to get you started down that road.
Okay. Are the bank statement programs focused on personal or business accounts?
Either. We can use either. They're processed a little bit differently because business deposits, the business then has to pay their expenses. So you have some expense factors and things like that apply. Personal, You're just looking at the deposits into the personal account for 12 months and averaging those deposits, and there you go. That's your income. So either works. The key is that the borrower does have to be self-employed for 2 years.
Got it. Okay. How do you get over the objection of the higher rates? Nowadays, they're not that much higher.
Yeah. Well, I kind of mentioned that our rates haven't moved much, but we know in the conventional world, rates have moved quite a bit. So yeah, that spread continues to shrink every single day. But in the non-QM space, Frank, it's not a rate discussion. It's really you as a loan officer are bringing a solution to a borrower. I mean, think about that self-employed borrower who's had the same tax returns for many years. They have not been able to get a loan post-crisis. I mean, after the crisis, private capital, you guys all remember the stated income. There were lots of self-employed type programs out there, but those went away completely. So this bank statement loan, borrowers aren't saying, oh gosh, that rate's too high. Well, the choice is, do they want the house or not? It's not they can go online and get a rate that's an eighth better from some lender across the country. That is not how it works in the non-QM space. You are that consultant who's bringing a solution to get them into that house, and that's really why it's different, and why so many loan officers love to originate these loans, because it's not this Fannie Mae online competition. That's not it. It's not a rate game. It's really a solutions game.
Got it. Yeah, makes total sense. Yeah, if they're winding up here, hopefully the rate. Yeah, they're beyond the rate thing. It's just I need to get in. What can we do?
Yes.
And the rates are actually really reasonable. I mean, they're fine. They're great.
Yep.
I mean,
no doubt.
you would expect, okay, man, it's going to be 12%, or something like that. And it's, I mean, if you're talking 5 3/4, 5 1/2, 5 3/4, something like that. I mean, come on, that's pretty darn good for considering, especially for what jumbo loan. You know what I mean? It's
right.
It's good stuff. Yeah. All right, we have kind of one more question here, and I think we're good to go. If I understand correctly, in order to use the investor cash flow program, how long do they need to own a primary first?
That depends. They do have to own a primary. So, and it has to make sense that this is truly an investment property. So we just look to that makes sense that they own a primary. It could be a shorter period, but we don't say you have to own a primary for 2 years. It just has to make sense.
Good old make sense.
Make sense decisioning.
Wow. I remember those days. I remember the days, Tom, when I got to go talk to an underwriter and talk them into doing a deal. Had nothing to do. Yeah. There was no CEO, DU, or any of that. I just talked them into the deal. I got to admit, I've made an underwriter or two cry in my lifetime.
Haven't we all? Haven't we all, right? You've been in the business, but but I don't know if you talked about this, but that's a big piece of the non-QM. It is common sense, make sense decisions. We make exceptions to our guidelines, every single day. If the loan is a good loan and the underwriter believes in the loan, but there's one piece like that example you just gave, if they haven't owned their primary long enough, but everything else about the loan is good, that underwriter has the authority to make an exception and to close that loan.
Nice.
We call them storied loans. You remember those days. What's the story of this loan? It's not all just black and white and what's on paper. It's what's the story behind it.
Yeah, it's neat that you guys operate in that way, because that was it was a great way of doing business. It really was. And I bet there might even be some guys watching on the call who are newer to the business who never experienced that before, and I got to tell you, it's a wonderful way to do business. So with that, I think we're done, bud.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm glad I got to join some of it.
Yeah. Thanks for the fire drill.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. Literally. You kind of said that at the beginning of the call, didn't you? You said, it's the mortgage business and bombs can go off and you just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Felt like we got one.
All right, bud. Well, that was good. Thank you guys Thank you guys for showing up to our continued ongoing Angel Oak webinar series at the National Real Estate Post. Stay tuned for more. Reach out to us. You'll be getting any of your questions answered that we didn't happen to answer for whatever reason. You'll be getting answered. We'll be sending the stuff out as soon as we can. And please come back to either retake it or learn more on our continuing webinar series with Angel Oak. You guys have a good one. Catch you later, guys. See you, Tom.
Thank you, Frank. Thanks, everybody, for joining. See ya.